Good day, everyone. Welcome to our exploration of sustainable lifestyle choices and their profound impact on mental well-being. The relationship between how we live and how we feel represents one of the most compelling areas of contemporary health research. When we examine the intersection of environmental consciousness and psychological health, we discover that caring for our planet and caring for our minds are not separate endeavors. They are deeply interconnected processes that can enhance each other in remarkable ways. In this Module 4, we'll dive into the powerful connection between sustainable living and our mental health. We'll explore how simple choices in diet, activity, and daily habits impact our emotional well-being. The core idea is that caring for the planet often means caring for ourselves. By the end, you'll have a practical, personalized wellness plan for long-term resilience, all developed within 1 week. Let's get started. Today, we're setting the stage for what you'll gain from this module. These objectives highlight our journey to understanding the deep connection between sustainable living and mental well-being. By the end, you'll not only grasp how our choices impact mental health, but you'll also identify key factors and practical strategies involving nutrition, activity, sleep, and nature. Critically, you'll learn to build your own eco-friendly wellness plan, fostering long-term resilience and mental stability. Our exploration follows a logical progression through interconnected themes. We begin with foundational concepts about mind-body-environment connections, then examine specific lifestyle domains, including nutrition, physical activity, sleep, and digital habits. We'll explore nature's role in mental restoration before addressing environmental threats to psychological health. Finally, we'll synthesize these insights into practical planning frameworks for sustainable well-being. Mental health exists within a complex web of relationships that extend far beyond individual psychology. Our emotional well-being is influenced by our physical health, our social connections, and crucially, the environments we inhabit. Understanding these interconnections helps us move beyond narrow approaches to mental health treatment towards more comprehensive, systems-based thinking that recognizes the fundamental unity of human and environmental health. Holistic health models challenge the traditional medical approach that often treats symptoms in isolation. Instead, they recognize that mental, physical, environmental, social, and spiritual dimensions of health are interconnected. When we address multiple dimensions simultaneously, we often achieve better outcomes than when focusing on single aspects. For sustainable mental health, understanding these interconnections is essential for developing effective, long-term strategies. Eco-psychology represents a fascinating field that examines our psychological relationship with the natural world. The core premise is that humans evolved in natural environments and maintain deep psychological connections to living systems. When these connections are severed or weakened, our mental health can suffer. Conversely, when we nurture our relationship with nature, we often experience improved psychological well-being and greater environmental awareness. This landmark 2019 study revealed a clear guideline. Just 120 minutes a week in nature significantly boosts well-being. What's crucial is that these benefits apply universally, regardless of age or health status. The practical takeaway is flexibility. Whether it's a long hike or short frequent walks, consistent engagement matters. We can all integrate this nature prescription into our busy lives for better mental health, proving ecotherapy isn't just a concept, but a powerful tool. Nutritional psychiatry has emerged as a vital field that bridges nutrition science and mental health research. The foods we consume directly influence neurotransmitter production, inflammation levels, and brain structure. What makes nutritional approaches particularly relevant to sustainable mental health is that dietary patterns supporting psychological well-being often align with environmentally sustainable food choices, creating opportunities for dual benefits. We're diving into your second brain, the incredible gut-brain connection. Explain how our gut isn't just about digestion, it's a superhighway communicating directly with our brain. Highlight the vagus nerve, the brain in our belly, enteric nervous system, and those tiny gut microbes producing mood-influencing chemicals. Emphasize that a healthy, diverse gut microbiome profoundly impacts our stress response, inflammation, and neurotransmitters, making it crucial for our overall mental well-being. This understanding empowers us to make dietary choices that truly nourish our minds. Specific nutrients play crucial roles in brain function and mental health. Omega-3 fatty acids support brain structure and reduce inflammation, whilst B vitamins are essential for neurotransmitter production. Antioxidants protect brain cells from oxidative stress. The encouraging news is that these nutrients are abundant in plant-based foods, making sustainable dietary choices naturally supportive of mental health when properly planned. Plant-rich dietary patterns offer remarkable convergence between mental health benefits and environmental sustainability. The Mediterranean diet, for example, has strong research support for reducing depression risk, whilst also having a lower carbon footprint than typical Western diets. Similarly, traditional dietary patterns from various cultures often emphasize whole foods, seasonal eating, and plant-based proteins, approaches that support both psychological well-being and ecological health. The Mental Health Plate provides a practical framework for meal planning that supports both psychological well-being and environmental sustainability. By filling half your plate with colorful vegetables, you ensure adequate antioxidant and fiber intake. Whole grains provide steady energy and B vitamins, whilst plant proteins offer essential amino acids without the environmental impact of animal products. Healthy fats support brain function and nutrient absorption. Physical activity represents one of the most powerful interventions for mental health, with effects comparable to many pharmaceutical treatments for depression and anxiety. The mechanisms are multifaceted. Exercise stimulates neuroplasticity, releases mood-enhancing chemicals, improves sleep quality, and builds self-efficacy. When we choose sustainable forms of movement, we amplify these benefits by connecting with nature and reducing our environmental impact. The statistics surrounding exercise and mental health are remarkable. A 30% reduction in depression risk represents a substantial protective effect, whilst the immediate anxiety-reducing benefits demonstrate that we don't need to wait weeks or months to experience improvements. The cognitive benefits are equally impressive, with exercise enhancing memory, attention, and executive function. These effects occur through multiple biological pathways, including neurogenesis and improved brain blood flow. Mindful movement practices offer unique benefits by combining physical activity with stress reduction techniques. Yoga, Tai Chi, and Qigong integrate breath awareness, gentle movement, and meditation, creating powerful tools for managing stress and anxiety. Nature-based activities like hiking and gardening provide additional benefits by combining movement with natural environment exposure, creating what researchers call green exercise effects. Sustainable exercise options demonstrate how environmental consciousness and mental health can be mutually reinforcing. Active transportation like cycling or walking provides regular movement whilst reducing carbon emissions. Outdoor bodyweight exercises eliminate the need for energy-intensive gym equipment. Community sports build social connections whilst minimizing resource consumption. These approaches often prove more enjoyable and sustainable than traditional gym-based exercise routines. Green gym programs exemplify the powerful synergy between environmental action and mental health improvement. Participants engage in meaningful conservation work whilst receiving physical exercise and social connection. The mental health benefits extend beyond the physical activity itself. Participants report increased sense of purpose, community belonging, and environmental self-efficacy. These programs demonstrate how addressing environmental challenges can simultaneously support psychological well-being. The success of green gym programs highlights an important principle. When we align our personal well-being goals with environmental benefits, we often achieve better outcomes in both domains. The combination of physical activity, nature exposure, social connection, and meaningful purpose creates a powerful intervention that addresses multiple aspects of mental health simultaneously, whilst contributing to environmental restoration. Digital technology's impact on sleep and mental health has become increasingly concerning. Blue light exposure suppresses melatonin production, disrupting our natural sleep-wake cycles. The constant stimulation from screens can maintain our nervous systems in an activated state, making it difficult to wind down for sleep. Establishing healthy digital boundaries supports both better sleep and reduced anxiety, whilst also decreasing our electronic energy consumption. Digital detox strategies offer dual benefits for mental health and environmental sustainability. Regular tech-free periods allow our attention spans to recover and reduce the constant energy consumption of our devices. Mindful content consumption helps us avoid the anxiety and depression that can result from excessive social media use. Single tasking improves cognitive efficiency whilst reducing our need for multiple devices and constant connectivity. The research on technology and sleep reveals concerning patterns that affect millions of people. The meta-analysis findings demonstrate clear dose-response relationships. More screen time correlates with worse sleep quality and increased mental health problems. These effects are particularly pronounced when screen use occurs close to bedtime, highlighting the importance of establishing technology curfews for both sleep hygiene and mental well-being. Natural environments possess unique restorative qualities that cannot be replicated by built environments. The Japanese concept of forest bathing and similar practices worldwide recognize that nature exposure provides specific psychological benefits, including stress reduction, improved attention, and enhanced mood. These benefits occur through multiple pathways: reduced cortisol levels, improved immune function, and what researchers call soft fascination that allows our directed attention to recover. This provides a compelling evolutionary explanation for our psychological connection to nature. E.O. Wilson's research suggests that our affinity for living systems is hardwired into our psychology through millions of years of evolution. The evidence supporting this connection is found in healthcare settings, workplaces, and educational environments where nature views and natural elements consistently improve human well-being and performance. Urban green spaces serve as crucial mental health infrastructure in our increasingly urbanized world. Even small pocket parks can provide significant psychological benefits by offering respite from urban stressors, opportunities for social connection, and contact with natural elements. The accessibility of these spaces is particularly important for mental health equity, ensuring that nature's benefits are available to all community members, regardless of economic status. Ecotherapy activities represent structured approaches to harnessing nature's mental health benefits. Forest bathing, or Shinrin-yoku, involves mindful immersion in forest environments using all our senses. Wilderness therapy combines outdoor adventure with therapeutic techniques, proving particularly effective for young people. These approaches demonstrate how traditional healing practices and modern therapeutic techniques can be integrated with environmental engagement. The 5-4-3-2-1 grounding exercise demonstrates how simple techniques can deepen our connection with nature whilst providing immediate anxiety relief. By systematically engaging our senses with natural elements, we activate our parasympathetic nervous system and shift our attention away from anxious thoughts. The technique is particularly valuable because it can be practiced anywhere natural elements are present, from urban parks to wilderness areas. Environmental degradation creates significant psychological challenges that we must acknowledge and address. Climate change, pollution, and habitat destruction don't just threaten physical health. They create profound psychological impacts, including anxiety, grief, and feelings of helplessness. Understanding these environmental threats to mental health is essential for developing comprehensive approaches to both individual and collective well-being in our changing world. Climate anxiety and eco-grief represent normal psychological responses to environmental threats. Climate anxiety involves chronic worry about environmental changes and their impacts, whilst eco-grief encompasses mourning for environmental losses. These responses reflect our deep psychological connections to the natural world and our awareness of environmental threats. Recognizing these as legitimate emotional responses is the first step in developing healthy coping strategies. Urban environments contain multiple stressors that can accumulate to undermine mental health. Noise pollution disrupts sleep and increases stress hormones. Air pollution affects cognitive function and mood regulation. Light pollution disrupts circadian rhythms. Overcrowding can trigger anxiety and reduce social cohesion. Understanding these urban stressors helps us develop strategies to mitigate their impacts whilst working towards more sustainable urban design. Building psychological resilience in the face of environmental change requires both individual and collective strategies. Constructive engagement through environmental action can transform feelings of helplessness into empowerment. Community connection provides social support and shared purpose. Mindfulness practices help us stay grounded whilst remaining aware of environmental challenges. These approaches help us maintain mental health whilst contributing to environmental solutions. Dr. Susan Clayton's expertise in environmental psychology provides valuable insights into managing climate-related mental health challenges. Her research emphasizes that addressing climate change requires attention to both physical and psychological dimensions. By validating emotional responses to environmental change and providing concrete action opportunities, we can support mental well-being whilst contributing to environmental solutions. Her work demonstrates the importance of integrated approaches to environmental and mental health. Creating a sustainable well-being plan requires thoughtful integration of practices that support both personal mental health and environmental sustainability. The most effective plans are realistic, aligned with personal values, and flexible enough to adapt to changing circumstances. Rather than overwhelming ourselves with dramatic changes, successful sustainable well-being plans typically involve gradual shifts that build momentum over time whilst creating lasting positive impacts. Effective planning begins with honest assessment of current habits and their impacts. The mental health inventory helps identify areas of strength and concern in psychological well-being. The environmental impact assessment reveals how our current lifestyle choices affect ecological systems. Understanding these baselines allows us to set realistic goals and track meaningful progress in both domains, whilst identifying opportunities for synergistic improvements. Integrating eco-friendly mental health practices throughout the day creates sustainable routines that support both personal well-being and environmental health. Morning natural light exposure regulates circadian rhythms whilst reducing artificial lighting needs. Plant-based meals support both mental health and environmental sustainability. Active transportation provides exercise whilst reducing emissions. These integrated approaches demonstrate how sustainable living can become a natural part of mental health maintenance. The SMART framework provides structure for sustainable well-being goals whilst ensuring they remain achievable and meaningful. Specific goals eliminate ambiguity and increase success likelihood. Measurable indicators allow progress tracking in both well-being and environmental domains. Achievable goals prevent overwhelm and build confidence. Relevant goals align with personal values and circumstances. Time-bound goals create accountability and momentum for positive change. The sample plan demonstrates how sustainable well-being goals can be structured across multiple life domains. Each domain includes current state assessment, specific goals, and concrete action steps. Notice how the goals address both mental health and environmental sustainability simultaneously. The plan provides a template that can be adapted to individual circumstances, preferences, and priorities, whilst maintaining focus on dual benefits. Common barriers to sustainable well-being practices can be overcome through creative problem-solving and realistic expectations. Time constraints can be addressed by integrating practices into existing routines rather than adding separate activities. Financial limitations can be managed by focusing on low-cost approaches like walking in nature or growing herbs. Social challenges can be addressed by finding like-minded communities or gradually introducing changes to existing social groups. The Greenwood Community Mental Health Garden exemplifies how sustainable well-being principles can be implemented at community scale. By converting unused urban space into therapeutic gardens, the project addresses multiple needs simultaneously: mental health support, environmental restoration, community building, and food security. The success demonstrates how environmental and mental health initiatives can be mutually reinforcing when thoughtfully designed and implemented. These key principles synthesize our exploration of sustainable mental health. Holistic integration recognizes that mental, physical, and environmental health are interconnected and mutually reinforcing. Nature connection acknowledges our fundamental psychological need for contact with living systems. Small changes can create significant impacts when sustained over time. Action-oriented approaches transform environmental concern into empowerment. These principles provide a foundation for lifelong sustainable well-being practices. The research evidence for sustainable living's mental health benefits is compelling and continues to grow. The 60% reduction in depression risk associated with nature exposure represents a substantial protective effect. The immediate mood benefits of gardening demonstrate that we don't need extensive time commitments to experience improvements. These statistics provide strong motivation for incorporating sustainable practices into mental health approaches. Personal reflection helps consolidate learning and identify opportunities for practical application. Consider which sustainable practices already support your mental health. These represent strengths to build upon. Identify environmental factors that might be undermining your well-being without your awareness. These represent opportunities for improvement. Choose one realistic practice to implement immediately. This creates momentum for further positive changes. The discussion question encourages deeper thinking about synergistic approaches to environmental and mental health challenges. Consider how integrated approaches might create opportunities for innovation in healthcare, education, urban planning, and policy development. Think about how addressing both domains simultaneously might engage different stakeholders and resources than addressing either alone. These integrated approaches often prove more sustainable and effective than single-issue interventions. The assignment provides opportunity to apply course concepts to your personal circumstances. Begin with honest assessment of current mental health needs and environmental impacts. Choose 3 domains that feel most relevant and achievable for your situation. Develop specific, measurable goals with concrete implementation steps. Consider potential barriers and develop realistic strategies to address them. Remember that sustainable change occurs gradually through consistent small steps. These resources provide opportunities for deeper exploration of sustainable mental health concepts. The books offer comprehensive perspectives from leading researchers and practitioners. Mobile applications provide practical tools for implementing sustainable well-being practices. Academic journals contain the latest research findings. Organizations offer opportunities for community engagement and advocacy. Choose resources that align with your interests and learning preferences for continued growth. Our next module extends sustainable well-being concepts to healthcare systems themselves. We'll explore how healthcare institutions can adopt sustainable practices whilst improving patient outcomes. Topics include green healthcare infrastructure, sustainable medical practices, and policy approaches that support both environmental and health goals. The principles we've learned about individual sustainable well-being scale up to institutional and systems-level applications. Seasonal well-being approaches recognize that our mental health needs and environmental opportunities change throughout the year. Summer emphasizes heat management and water-based activities. Autumn focuses on harvest nutrition and seasonal transitions. Winter addresses light exposure and indoor air quality. Spring celebrates renewal and outdoor activity resumption. Adapting our sustainable well-being practices to seasonal rhythms creates more natural and sustainable approaches to mental health maintenance. Support resources are available for both academic and personal needs related to course content. Dr. Thornton's office hours provide opportunities for deeper discussion of sustainable well-being concepts. Technical support ensures smooth access to learning materials. Mental health resources acknowledge that exploring these topics may raise personal concerns requiring professional support. Don't hesitate to utilize these resources as needed throughout your learning journey. John Muir's wisdom reminds us that our relationship with nature is reciprocal. We receive far more than we seek when we open ourselves to natural environments. Our exploration of Sustainable Mental Health demonstrates that caring for our planet and caring for our minds are not separate endeavors but interconnected aspects of holistic well-being. Small, consistent steps towards sustainable living can create profound improvements in both personal mental health and environmental health.